And Kayleigh McEnany is with us here. This is one of the things that Dmitry Peskov, he's a spokesperson for the Kremlin, he said, we are really grateful to the Americans and to President Trump personally for their assistance in organizing and launching this negotiation process. Of course, at the same time, this is a very crucial moment, which is associated, of course, with the emotional overload of everyone, absolutely, and with emotional reactions. So, I mean, I dealt with him way back when. He's a professional spokesperson. He knows exactly the words to use to try to get a rise out of somebody.
Yeah, and that's what he's intending to do. The words of someone not interested in peace. The Economist had some really revealing statistics, and it's this. When you look at Putin's track record, he's invaded 5 places in 25 years, so he does have a track record there. They've lost more than 1 million soldiers in Ukraine. That's an extraordinary loss, and since those early gains, Russia's only picked up 1% more territory. So think about that. 3 years of fighting and you've only picked up 1% more territory, and yet you've lost 1 million. But here's what Putin has behind him, and I think this is why he's acting so boldly. The Economist pointed out that 55%, or 60% rather, of Russians believe that standard of living was the most important issue in Russia a few years ago. Now that has fallen about 20%, and a vast majority of Russians say the biggest issue is Russian national pride. So you're dealing with someone who knows he has his population behind him, and that's a tough
and so
thing.
Does Trump.
Like that. So does Trump.
And so does Zelensky.
Yeah. So does Zelensky.
A number of things happened over the weekend. Germany, on behalf of UK, France, and the U.S., are lifting the restrictions on long-range missiles hitting military targets inside Russia. If you look at the bombardment from over the weekend, 9 cruise missiles, 335 attack drones. If I were President Trump, every time a child dies in Ukraine, I call it out.
Yeah, there have literally been children kidnapped many, many times, civilians killed in their bed. These are atrocities, and President Trump is right to pinpoint that. But yeah, call it out, make it visual.
Let the world understand it.
Let the world understand it. But the real question I have is, look, if these peace talks end, which it looks like we're approaching that, the Wall Street Journal is saying President Trump is realizing these might be coming to an end, does that mean supporting Ukraine? That's a different calculus, because you saw at the same time he was criticizing Putin, he's also saying that Zelensky causes problems every time he speaks. So does that translate to support for Ukraine? That's, to me, the million-dollar question.
Meantime, there was this continued fallout. I was gone a week, and the Biden book is still giving us dividends. There's another piece in here that we just learned a little bit more about, and this is Kamala Harris, who, as vice president, then she becomes the candidate. And at that time, one of the things that happened is, you'll remember, that Biden had his own deplorables moment and said he called Trump voters garbage. Watch here.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not.
So this is well before she, basically has never come out and said Biden had lost it. But this led to President Trump having this great moment on the campaign trail where he was in the garbage truck.
Yeah, it was huge. That viral image that is iconic. Look at that. I mean, iconic when you think about the last election. But there was a lead up to this garbage moment with Biden. You had him first putting on the MAGA hat, and the reporting from Alex Thompson's book was that Kamala Harris said, "What is he doing?" And that's when the campaign said this. They said that the Harris campaign decided that would be the last time she would make a public appearance with Biden. So long before this, they said, we're not going to appear with Biden. Imagine that, the vice president benching the president. He wanted to be out there, but they relegated him to Zoom calls, and it was on a Zoom call where he made the garbage comment. So even putting him on Zoom didn't stop him from interfering in the campaign.
When are we going to run out of these stories?
I don't know.
When are we going to get tired of it? I mean, it just keeps on driving itself. And to me, it's just like a circular story that goes round and round. We all sat here and watched it. But we saw it in real time.
We did. But the investigations need to begin. Speaking with John Yoo, of course, someone you know well, Dana, from your tenure with Bush. Look, he has said we need some sort of special prosecutor, either in Congress or at DOJ, because this isn't about revenge. That's not what this is about. It's about fixing maybe a default in the presidency. He said, I don't think the founders ever envisioned someone running the country for the president. The 25th Amendment didn't appear to work here.
Well, and Walter, did you read Walter Russell Mead this morning in the Wall Street Street Journal. He has this column about how in the book it's mostly about Biden going left on domestic policies, but it doesn't really talk about the foreign policy issues. Biden was maybe a little more coherent on there. He loved those issues, but they were with him all the time and never said anything either.
Yeah, and on those policies, there are anecdotes from the book on immigration where he intended to crack down on the border and the plan disappeared. Well, where did the plan disappear to, and who made it disappear? These are the kind of questions that need to be asked. 11 million guns.
If you were watching this show or this network, you didn't need a book.
Yeah.
You didn't need a book.
Right there for you.
Yep.
Kayleigh, nice to see you.
Great to
Thank
see you.
you.
Have a good day.
See you at noon.
Thanks so much.
So trouble on the Hill as some Senate Republicans.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.